It is correct that today terrorism is our common worry. However, it is necessary for you to know that the insecurity and strain that you experienced during the recent events differ from the pain that the people of Iraq, Yemen, Syria, and Afghanistan have been experiencing for years in two significant ways. First, the Islamic world has been a victim of terror and brutality to a larger extent territorially, to a greater amount quantitatively, and for a longer period in terms of time. Second, that unfortunately this violence has been supported by certain powers through various methods and effective means. Today, there are very few people who are uninformed about the role of the United States of America in creating, nurturing, and arming Al-Qaeda, the Taliban, and their inauspicious successors. Besides this direct support, the overt and well-known supporters of Takfiri terrorism, despite having the most backward political systems, are standing arrayed as allies to the West, while the most pioneering, brightest, and most dynamic Democrats in the region are suppressed mercilessly. The prejudiced response of the West to the awakening movement in the Islamic world is an illustrative example of the contradictory Western policies. The other side of these contradictory policies is seen in supporting the state terrorism of Israel. The oppressed people of Palestine have experienced the worst kind of terrorism for the last 60 years. If the people of Europe have now taken refuge in their homes for a few days and refrain from being present in busy places, it is decades that a Palestinian family is not secure, even in its own home, from the Zionist regime's death and destruction machinery. What kind of atrocious violence today is comparable to that of the settlement construction of the Zionist regime? This regime, without ever being seriously and significantly censured by its influential allies, or even by the so-called independent international organizations, every day demolishes the homes of Palestinians and destroys their orchards and farms. This is done without even giving them time to gather their belongings or agricultural products, and is usually done in front of the terrified and tear-filled eyes of women and children who witness the brutal beatings of their family members, who in some cases are being dragged away to gruesome torture chambers. In today's world, do we know of any other violence on this scale and scope, and for such an extended period of time? Shooting down a woman in the middle of the street for the crime of protesting against a soldier who is armed to the teeth. If this is not terrorism, what is? This barbarism, because it is being done by the armed forces of an occupying government, should not be called extremism? Or maybe only because these scenes have been seen repeatedly on television screens for 60 years, they should no longer stir our conscience.